So I just filmed my unwrapping of my physical TBR, and I am also getting to film my blind TBR video. So I'm just filming these back to back because it is the beginning of March right now, and I'm getting to just pick them and then I'm going to read them separately in separate videos and throw it all together for you. So if I look similar to the wrap TBR video, it is because it is the same day at the same time and I'm filming them back to back. I'll probably do this every month too, just to make it easier, because then I get to pick both books at the same time at the beginning of the month and get started on them as soon as possible. So I've got my TBR's Endless jar. I'm gonna shake it up. I also added all of my new books that I just got at the book sale at my book haul. Check that out over here if you want to see my book haul. So I had a bunch of new books, like probably almost 100, and so I added all of those in here as well. So we've got a bunch of new ones to pick from. Very excited. I'm not gonna look, I'm just gonna randomly grab one. Why does this make me so nervous every time I do this? Okay, here is my slip. A sudden light. Let me go find this and then I will show it to you when I find it. I have no idea where this is, so it's gonna take me. Okay, I finally found this. It took me like 10 minutes because it is one of the new ones that I just bought. And I was actually really excited about reading this one, so I kind of can't wait to get started on this, and I'm really excited that I picked this one this month. I had a hard time finding it because the title is like way down here, and I just was like looking at the author's name and just like going past it for some reason. So anyway, super cool, and it's got this really cool cover. And on the back it says, "Stunning, a truly killer read, a bold book about wealth, family ties, and the power of memory." So I don't know, I'm not really sure what it's about. I'm going to read more about it like on Goodreads because there's really not much on the back of this one. That just says, when a boy tries to save his parents' marriage, he uncovers a vast legacy of family secrets. So I'm gonna read a little bit more about it and figure out what the heck I'm gonna be reading here, and then I'm gonna read it and talk to you about it. And it looks like it is a bit thick. It is 400 pages, so it's actually just about the same as my Wrap TBR book pick this month. So these are the two books that I'm reading, and if you would like to see me read The Murder Room, I am doing a video on that, and that is going to be episode 3 of my Wrap TBR, so you can go ahead and watch that one. And let's get into reading this one. A slight confession to make. I am supposed to be reading A Sudden Light, and this has been sitting on my shelf since March. I don't know when this video is going to come out, probably sometime in May, because right now we're here at the end of April and I'm only semi through this book. But my confession is that it was literally sitting on my shelf so long that I kept looking at it, and I was backing myself up because I haven't read April's book either, because I was telling myself I have to read this one first, and I have not read it. I didn't read it. I didn't read it all of March, didn't read it all of April. That's not true. I picked it up in April. But before that, I literally filmed a whole video of me repicking a book and saying how I wasn't feeling this book, didn't want to read it, and it was backing me up and yada yada. And I literally repicked a book and was about to start reading it, and then something just told me, like, no, stick with it, read this book, just start it. And if this is the only book you read in like 2 weeks. Like, just read this book. So I was like, okay, I'm going to actually give it a try, because I didn't even pick it up and start reading it. Like, it was just sitting there looking at me on my shelf, and like so many of my other books are, I mean, they're all just here, and then I go to the library, and then I get more, and then I read something else that's not on my shelf. So the whole point of this is to read what's on my shelf, something that I wouldn't normally pick up, which this definitely was. So all that being said, I actually picked this up and started reading it mid-April, I would say. And now we're here at the end of April, and I am 150 pages into this out of 400. And I am actually really intrigued by it, and I've really been brought into it, and it is so much better than I originally thought it was going to be. And I love that I can say that, because I say that so often about books that I just stare at and then I don't read, or then I finally pick up after like a year, and then I'm like, wow, this was amazing. I don't know what I was waiting on. This one right here, The Wife Between Us, was one of those books that I waited forever to read, and then the beginning of this year, it was the first book that I read this year, and it was amazing, 5 stars. So very excited to continue reading this. I'm hoping to be done by May and having this video out in May, because I'm going to have to pick another book for May, and I still need to catch up. I need to read this. I need to read Strangers She Knows up here. I don't know if that's in shot or not, but then I also need to read my book for my Wrap TBR. So I'm totally behind right now. It's really annoying because I've been getting so distracted by other books. I also got a bunch of ARCs that I had to read, and I've just been trying to knock those out, and I've just been focused on a lot of other things and books, and so I need to get my head in the game here. Insert High School Musical video. And I need to start reading, and so that's what I've been doing, and I am determined to finish this within the next 2 weeks. I'm giving myself 2 weeks. So today is the end of April. I think it's like April, insert date, 26th, I want to say. So I have 2 weeks from today to finish this book, and I'll be tracking it on this video, and you'll be keeping up with me and keeping me accountable for reading this book. We are going to knock this out. We're going to finish this book. I can't wait to see what is going to happen, because right now there is just so many secrets and mysteries to uncover, and I love that. We have this really ancient family that has had this mansion and like acres of property for a very long time. I think it's been like 4 or 5 generations that it's been passed down. And so the grandfather is there right now, and he's like generation 3. And then the son is there with generation 4, and then his son is there with generation 5. And they all are at this house, this big manor, and the grandfather has dementia and or Alzheimer's. He hasn't been diagnosed, but that's what they're saying he has. And I feel like there's something fishy about that. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. It's very, very fishy. But he's been saying some strange things, and they just chalk it up to like his dementia or Alzheimer's. And the youngest, the generation 5 kid, is there, and he is about 13 or 14, I want to say. And he's like catching on to what the grandfather's saying, and he's like, no, I don't think he's just saying things. I think there's meaning behind this. And he goes and like looks into the things the grandfather says, and he's been finding clues, and he's been finding things out. He thinks he's been seeing ghosts, just so much crazy stuff. And he's also been finding like secret corridors in this mansion, and just like uncovering things. He found keys for these boxes that he unlocked, that he found all this stuff in, that I won't say what it is, but and it's just like crazy. All these secrets are like popping up every day. There's more secrets. Like as many as he uncovers, he like doubles that in how many more there are to uncover. And it's actually really, really like intense, and I really want to know what happens, and I feel like I just can't even read fast enough to figure out what's going on. And then also this grandfather had another son who passed away when he was younger. I think he was like in his 20s or 30s, and they say not another son, sorry, it was his brother, but they say that the brother that passed away is the ghost, and he's like stuck in the manor, and he is trying to tell them something, and they have to figure out what he is trying to tell them. Then this generation 5 boy found his diary, and it's talking about him all the time and like what he was like, what was happening with him and all this stuff. So he's been reading that, and we've been getting to read his journal entries, which is like so cool, and I've been loving that. So we're kind of like flashing back from past to future to present to all of this, and I love it. So didn't think I would be saying that about this book, but I'm really happy that it's actually, I'm connecting with it. It's in grabbing my interest, and it's making me want to read more and more and more. So now that I've actually gotten myself into it, I actually am really interested in it, and I really want to continue reading it and find out what's actually going on. So I'm going to go get to reading, and then I'm going to come back and give you an update, probably in like 100 or so more pages. And then we'll be like more than halfway through the book. So I'll have more of a better grasp on it. But yay, so proud that I finally have started this book. And this challenge is, I feel like, just not going the way I wanted it. Like I wanted this video to come out at the end of March and me to have wrapped up this book by the end of March, but that's just not what's happening. So I have to work really hard to catch up on all of this and to get started on my next book from my pick, because pretty soon it's gonna be time to pick a new book, and I'm feeling the pressure. I have gotten to page 300 of A Sudden Light, and I am actually so surprised by this book, and I'm so happy to be so surprised by this. It has been really good, and it has really grasped my interest. And I honestly can't put it down. I have been reading a couple other books like as well as this, and just switching back and forth when I kind of feel like I need a little break. But otherwise, like, it's amazing. I'm leaning towards 4 stars on it right now. It really just depends on the ending. Like, it could almost be a 5-star. But I'm so surprised. I'm so happy that I forced myself to read it. And this is what this challenge is all about, is getting me out of my comfort zone and getting me to read something that I probably just would have let sit on my shelf for a long time before I ever picked it up, if I even ever picked it up. And I'm so happy that I did pick it up, and I'm really enjoying it, and I cannot wait to finish it. I've got 100 pages left, and I will come back and tell you more about it then. But so far, I'm gonna try to pick up where I left off on talking about it on the last clip. But so far, the little boy who's 14 is getting like dreams and letters from his deceased great uncle. And so his deceased great uncle is a ghost, and he's like making all these things happen, which is kind of creepy but also kind of really cool. So that's all happening. And then he's also has found some journals and diaries and stuff like that, and he's like really learning about these people that came before him in so many different ways than the other family members even know about, because this was like so far back. So it's so interesting, and I really don't want to give away too much in case you are wanting to read this, but I would definitely suggest this book, just so far, not even having finished it yet. It's so good. It's such a great mystery with like a haunted house and just like all this drama and things constantly happening. And I feel like this little boy's aunt is like halfway evil. She's got like an evil scheme up her sleeve. I don't trust her. She's very shady, but I also really love her character, and I love how the author has incorporated all this into one book. And at first I thought this was a very long book, and I was like, what could they possibly need this to be so long for? But I totally understand why it's so long now, and I'm really happy that the author continued and did make it 400 pages, because I feel like this needed 400 pages to kind of get all points across. And we are going back like in the past as well in this book a lot, which I love. So we just needed a lot of pages for all of this to really come together. So I'm gonna go finish this. I'm probably just gonna go read until I finish this, and then I'm gonna come back and talk to you about it maybe tomorrow when I'm done. But I'm really excited about this, and I can't wait to go finish. I have finished A Sudden Light. This was such a good book. This I rated 4 stars. I was really happy with it. I thought it was just so good. We got to go along on this journey, on this generational journey, where we are picking up on things from the past and applying them to the present, and just trying to uncover the mysteries of the family. And it was just so good. Like, if you love a good mystery and just being puzzled and not being able to figure out what is going on until the end of a book, then this book is totally for you. It also had just like ghosts, and it was like a haunted old mansion on this really big private property, so they were all by themselves, and it was like a little bit creepy here and there. There was secret passageways in the house. There was all kinds of secrets to be uncovered, and it was so cool to read about. It completely grabbed my attention. I honestly had almost put this book down and said, no, I'm going to put it back on my shelf and pick a new book. And once I started with this, once I got about 30 or so pages in, I got hooked on this book, and I really wanted to know what would happen. And it was just a different read than what I would normally pick up, but along the same lines at the same time. Like, it wasn't a thriller, but it was a good mystery, and it kept me on the edge of my seat. It kept me wanting to turn the pages, and it just kind of transported me to this big old mansion with this family, and I just felt like I was like a fly on the wall there, which I feel like when books are able to do that, it's just, they are amazing, and the writing is amazing, and I would highly recommend it. The only reason it didn't get 5 stars was just because there were some parts where kind of it was dragging a little bit, and I feel like it was kind of unnecessary to have quite as much information as we did have. But with that being said, this was on the longer side of books that I would normally read. It was a 400-page book. And originally I was like, this is such a long book. I don't see why we have this much book for this story. But to be honest with you, now that I've read it, I feel like it was totally necessary, and I'm really glad that we got so much writing and so much of this story. And the ending of this book was just like everything you would want an ending to be on a book. Like, it just really wrapped everything up. It tied up all those loose strings that you were just wondering what was going to happen with them. And it also just ended in a way where it just made your heart just be like, okay, I feel okay about this. Like, these things all happen, and maybe I'm not okay with everything that happened, but with the ending, how it ended, like, I can set this book down and be like, all right, I'm like fully satisfied, and I fully know what's going to happen to each and every character and how it all tied together. And I feel like props to this author for that, because I feel like that is a hard thing to do, to just tie everything completely up in a nice little package and put a bow on top of it. And that is what this author did. So I would highly recommend this if you are into a mystery that's a page turner, that will bring you right to the story, and it'll make you feel like you're inside the book, and it will make you just not want to ever put the book down. So yes to this. So happy that I had such an amazing pick for March, and I cannot wait to see what I pick for May, because what I have for April is Strangers She Knows. So I will be starting on that next. I have yet to start that book, but now that I'm done with Sunlight, it is leaving me free to go ahead and get started on that, and then I will be picking a new pick. So make sure you check back to see what book I pick for May, and check back for the April video for Strangers She Knows, because that will hopefully be out sometime here in May. I know this video is in May, but I'm playing catch up. I got a little behind, and it's not really 100% how I thought that this would all go, but I'm catching up, and life happens, and other books happen, if I'm being quite honest, and I'm such a mood reader that it is hard for me to just stay on track with my reading and be like, yes, I'm gonna read this right now, even though I don't feel like it. Like, I'm not that type of way. I'm like, no, I'll read that when I feel like it. Let me read what's in front of me now, and this is what I feel like reading. And that's kind of what's been happening. I really didn't feel like reading A Sudden Light, and then I just forced myself to go ahead and get into it, and I'm so glad that I did. So make sure you check out my Instagram if you'd like to see more bookish content, because I post over there all the time. And then I also post here a weekly video every single Friday, so make sure you check back for that. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn your notification bell on, because I don't want you to miss any of the amazing content that is coming out all the time on my channel. And thank you for hanging out and coming along on this blind TBR jar journey, and I will see you on my next video soon. Bye!